Hi. I'm starting the holiday stocking because I do have to finish A Fabled Holiday, or whatever it's called, A Fabled Christmas, the Ryan Pavey, Brooke Dorsey one. But, I want to get the sad one out of the way because look, so the premise is that we start with Michael T. Williamson being an angel talking to like another angel about this plan he has to get his sisters who are estranged back together. And so she sends him back to Earth as RJ, who the sisters won't recognize as being the brother. And so the movie starts with them showing them as kids playing this game where they had to find a stocking, but and there were riddles, and it was a thing that they did, a tradition that they did every year, but it was about like charity and like what charity we're going to give to, or what are we going to do that's um, charitable, basically. So, um, so RJ's whole thing is like he shows up and says, "I'm working with your brother's estate, and can you meet me tomorrow over here by this Christmas tree at the place?" And one of the sisters does show up, and he says, he has the stocking. She's like, "Wow, you had the stocking. I didn't know my brother had this still, blah, blah, blah." And the other sister doesn't show up. So, but at 27 minutes in, we're finally to the part where the one sister decides to get involved, but she decides that she wants to get involved only because she like is um owns this big company that another company was going to invest in, but then they saw that they didn't do charitable stuff or something like that. So she was, it's kind of like her motives are a little, sketch, but whatever. We got to get the movie flowing, right? So they're at the one sister's bakery, and that sister, literally already forgot her name, Marlowe, is played by, I just looked it up, Tamala. Was it Tamala Jones? Oh my God, my memory shot. Um, but it was driving me crazy because she was looking so familiar, and I finally figured out that she played Lainey on Castle, a show of which I've watched like a couple seasons or something, but I love that show, and at some point I'll go back and finish it. But yeah, it was driving me nuts, and I love that character. So it was good to see her. I think she was in something else too that I watched, but I'm gonna have to go look that up. Anyway, I really like her, so now I'm more invested because I like her because I don't know any of these other people in here, and I do like that she has a teenager who is just like completely over everything, and I understand how that is because I have a teenager, so relatable. Anyway, let's get back to it. I got a bunch of stuff to do today, so I don't even know if I get to finish this today, but I'm gonna watch a little more. I'm gonna attempt to finish my review of the holiday stocking, even though my leaf blower guy is outside going around the complex. And if I look even more deathly than usual, it's because I'm sick. I tested. It's not COVID. My kid has literally been sick off and on for going on a month. This apparently is a common story around people because um, I literally just found this GIF that really nails what this season of sickness has been like. Um, and over the weekend, I had a work function which involved some dancing, and I had to dance because um, I was telling everybody if they put Push It on, I will dance, and then somebody did go and request Push It, and so then I had to dance. But also, I just love to dance, and what happened was like I broke my body a little bit, and then I got like hot and sweaty a lot because I get hot and sweaty just in general, but especially if I'm dancing. And then I would be hot and sweaty, and then be like outside and be cold, and hot and sweaty and outside and cold. So like the it would have been like I would have deemed myself some sort of superhero had I not gotten like a cold at the very least. So let's just hope it just stays like mild, like I'm stuffy cold, and that I remain functional because I got a lot of shit to do, including like watching these movies and reviewing them. I am so confused. I don't know my feelings about this movie because okay, this has to have spoilers in it because I don't know how to talk about my feelings about this movie without spoilers. So you're warned right now, like, if you want to go watch this movie, I would say go ahead and watch it because I'm gonna do a quick little wrap up and just tell you that, like, I feel like this movie for me for the most part was like a struggle bus slash laundry folder, but that ultimately there were things about it that I really, really liked. So I don't know how you're going to feel about the movie. That's all I can tell you. Non spoiler alert: the lady that I already mentioned, Tamala Jones, who I like from Castle. The other show that I was thinking of that I know her from is Rebel, which was a one season show with Katie Segal and Adam Arkin and Andy Garcia. And I like actually really loved that show. Wasn't a perfect show, but I like really love that show. And they only did one season. Unfortunate. But she was in that. And then so I love her. So I was glad anytime she was on the screen. The girl who played her daughter, I thought did a really good job. I think they did a really good job of portraying a mom teenager relationship where, like, you hurt when, like, she has this one line at one point where she's like, I remember when she didn't want to leave my side, like she'd cry when she had to leave my side, and now she cries if she has to hang out with me, kind of thing. And it was like, oh God, because that feeling, like, it reminded me so much of that feeling when you realize, like, that little kid who for is always like mommy number one, mommy number one. It's like not like that, and that is like such a rough transition to go through. Spoiler alert: if you have a kid and you haven't gone through that part yet, you will go through that part at some point, and it's going to suck. But you will come out on the other side, and then there'll just be other things that suck. But parenthood is still the best thing in the world, my opinion. But anyway, they did. I think they captured that. I think they captured that, and I like the girl who I like that kid who played the daughter. So when they were around, it was good. The One of the major problems is that I did not like the character of Danny. I found that, like, it's kind of like when you have a movie and you have somebody who needs to be redeemed, very common thematically, especially in a Christmas movie. I mean, look at A Christmas Carol, one of my favorite, like, tropes, right? But I find for her that, like, most of the time I was just like not liking her, not caring what was going to happen as far as her and the romantic interest. Like, I was thinking, why does this romantic interest even like her? Because she's just kind of an asshole, in my opinion. So I didn't really care for her the whole movie. So that was distracting. It was also distracting because the relationship that the sisters have, the whole point of him coming, this angel coming down to earth, is that he's supposed to be trying to get these sisters to reconcile. So when they first see each other, like, you can tell it's been a while since they've seen each other, but then it seems like, and maybe this would be common for sisters, I have a brother, but we've never been estranged, so I don't know what the relationship would be like if we'd kind of been estranged and then we kind of got back together. And then, like, I don't have that kind of relationship with him, so I don't have anything to compare this to. But it didn't seem very realistic to me that when they got back together, it was like, first it was like we're estranged, and then it seemed like they too easily got unestranged, and then of course they had more conflict as it went on. So it was just like that. To me, was a little, I don't know, I just don't feel like that aspect of it was well written. And then they were trying to do that, but then also tell us this message about volunteering and charity, which I think is an excellent message, but I think they were trying to do a lot. And so I think ultimately, like, a lot of stuff that happens feels muddled. And that would explain the struggle bus part for me. The fact that I didn't like Danny, I felt sorry for the guy who was supposed to play opposite her because I didn't feel like he had much to do. Even though I liked him, I'd like to see him again. The guy who played RJ. Really liked him. I hope that we see him again in something because I thought he was fantastic. I'd love to see him as a leading man in something. Um, Something about him. He's very handsome, very charismatic. Um, Loved him. Also, great to see Michael T. Williamson, famous for Bubba from Forrest Gump, um, even though he has just a little part in the movie. And yeah, so this is my review has been very muddled. So how dare I say that something is muddled? But so my muddled review is that I think I can recommend it, but now I need to kind of get to the spoiler parts to kind of further explain why I would say to watch it. So or other problems that I have with the movie. So God, this is just I'm just so ridiculous. At the end, this movie was like really grabbing me in my soul when they never, like, RJ never reveals himself to be their brother, but at the end of the movie, like when he's about to leave, the amount of emotions that's there, it's almost like they're feeling like that's who he is, and they give him a hug, and it's all very sad, and he goes to the door, and when he turns to leave, he like waves at them, and then for a split second he turns into Michael T. Williamson, and you can see the sisters go, and then he turns back into RJ, and then he leaves. And before that, they had taken a Polaroid picture because Danny, the one who I didn't like, was always taking pictures when she was a kid, and there was this box of stuff that. Oh, I didn't even talk about the stocking part with the riddles. That was another thing that was just there's just a lot going on in this movie. Um, anyway, she takes a Polaroid picture of them, and like I found like that was a missed opportunity because he could have walked out the door and then she could have looked at the picture and then he doesn't even show up in the picture because he's a freaking like angel ghost guy. But like they didn't even come back to that, which I thought that was a whole because like you could see on his face he kind of looked like when they took that Polaroid, and I'm like, did they just forget that they had done that because they could have gone back, looked at the Polaroid, and then known for sure? Because they go outside and they look around, and then they sort of feel like when they go outside because he drops his pendant, which is this thing that he or whatever it is that he's supposed to wear to like so that he can be visible to people, and they go outside, they don't see him anywhere, and they sort of like, huh, like that's odd kind of thing. But again, could have had the picture in the hand, looked down at the picture, and saw that he was missing. So I thought that was dumb and a missed opportunity. But ultimately, all of that part gave me the feels, like because they're talking about the most important things at Christmas aren't things that money can buy and stuff, and just like the family feels, and it was talking about grief, and it was just so that part was grabbing me, and I think making me think that I like this movie more than I actually like this movie, if that makes sense. I've talked already for 10 minutes, and the other part was already. So, like, I don't know. You guys watch this movie and tell me what you think. That's all I can tell you. Um, it's not something that I would necessarily want to watch again because, sad and that whole muddled part. So, yeah. But please tell me what you think and let me know if you can decipher from any of this what I think because I still don't know what I think. Okay? As always, thanks for listening. Bye.